Shalom, it's the brothers from GMS Atlanta. I want to start off by giving all praises to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah.
Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and a shalom to all the Akim out there pushing the word in sincerity and in truth. And we just want to jump into some prophecies of current events and what's going on now, which today's date is Saturday, which is the September the 9th, and basically we're just going to key in on a couple of events which all brothers is aware of right now, brothers that's in the know, and whoever else is watching, these different hurricanes and major storms is basically settling in. They hit major islands such as St. Martin, Dominican Republic got splashed, the Virgin Islands, Bermuda, and it's finna land and drop on Florida. And these different people are in a panic and they're in a rush. And when our different brothers have been having dialogues and communicating through our group texts and such things like that. And brothers were just going into a couple of images of the traffic, and the traffic is horrible. We right now are driving to the camp, and we got to maneuver through the different streets and the different roads to get to the camp because the traffic is horrible here. All these different people from Florida, they're evacuating, And they said in the news report that they actually estimated at least 5 million people to evacuate from the source of Florida, to avoid the destruction. But us in the know, in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah, we see the prophecies and these things move up to the coming of the Lord, and the society being closer and closer to its collapse. All right. And as this thing is going down, simultaneously Esau is working in the background. He's importing a lot of these Humvees and these military tanks, personnel. He's assimilating the military. The National Guard is over there in the Virgin Islands. The National Guard is being deployed. It's already deployed in Harvey, and it's going to be deployed in Georgia and other places because it's going to be chaotic, and the population is densifying in these other areas, such as Atlanta. All right, so we're going to go into a couple, scriptures just to bring it home. You got that? And the brothers,
Second Ezra chapter 15 too.
Let me kind of pull a quick spot up for Second Ezra 15.
Yeah, you got it.
Second Ezra 15.
About the sedition of men.
I'm gonna do 15 and 11.
Okay, that's good.
But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Because the Most High, he's starting to actually judge this place, man, for all the wickedness that goes on, all the wickedness and abominations that go on. A lot of people, they don't really understand the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai because in essence, he's kind of been hiding himself and holding that judgment back, letting the wickedness build up, letting the righteousness build up on the right hand side. But the Most High said he's gonna start releasing them plagues, and a big part of those plagues are the natural disasters. Whether it's the earthquake in Mexico, the mudslides in Asia, the hurricanes coming back to back to back. I mean, you think about it, in the last 2 weeks, since the solar eclipse, you had Harvey, you got Irma, you got Katia over there in the Gulf, you got Jose coming. That's 4 hurricanes in 2 weeks. So he's really starting to judge this place and release those plagues that he speaks of, and that the Bible prophesies about. I got the Habakkuk for you.
Okay. Yeah, just like the brother saying, hell is breaking loose all over the place. In Mexico, over there in the Eastern Hemisphere, it's wild out here right now. A lot of people are in a panic. Here in Atlanta, it's hard to buy water now. Brothers going to certain places to try to purchase gas. There ain't no gas in these different convenience stores. Over there in Texas, the elders over there in Texas, Elder Ariala and Elder Yashawama, they did different videos and expounding on different things, and it was basically showing how basically the gas is drying up over there too.
If I can speak or whatever, I've seen it in the outer skirts of the state of Alabama. It's really become a problem for brothers to get gas there, and that's really that trickle down effect. Cause it should start at one place, but it's gonna affect all others. The weaker vessels, the smallest places and everything or whatever. So hey man, the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is really on this place to destroy it at this point.
Hey, can I add to this too? Ecclesiastes chapter 12, the ground should cease. In a minute, it's gonna be real
Scarcity.
Scarcity of work throughout because you know a lot of these people they gotta go here and there. Then the hurricane destroying these different places, which is an extension of the economy of the United States of America, and they gotta fund back to build up those places just like New Orleans. It's gonna be hella trouble for these people.
And you know,
and inflation has risen. Gas, food, water, everything, man.
You know, if I could say to add on to that, brother, it's like really when you dealing with the things of the economy of Esau, it's a thing of like the bigger the fish, the smaller fishes they cleave onto the bigger fish to get a portion of that plate. So you know, I stay in a smaller city. So you know, a city that's smaller than Atlanta, they cleave onto Atlanta to be able to be that source, that feeding source, that generating power unto them. Because at the end of the day, it starts at the top and always trickles its way to the bottom.
What is it? Pressure from above, pressure from pressure to below. Yeah.
Right. So that's a thing for you know, for these jakes that's in these smaller cities to be like, well, you know, that ain't touching me, that ain't gonna affect me. It will affect you, and may it be unto your destruction that you have that prideful thinking that Yahweh Shem Yahushua won't touch you, that you go unthought about, and Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is the most highest state of mind that you know you should be left exempt. Mm-hmm. It's no exemption in this truth. Mm-hmm. Yeah. None at all. That's so right. if it started the bigger, what more for the little one? I could punch you in your mouth and make you bend over quick, man, if you was in prison. Mm-hmm. This is a thing of like, it's bigger, eat smaller, and bigger eat smaller. Always, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is the greatest. Mm-hmm. So the earth, he called it his footstool. Mm-hmm. So what more are we? Yahushua said, "For I am above and you are beneath." Yep. So who are we to bring, you know, accusations and railings against Yahushua himself unto the Most High? Like, you ain't worthy. So just take this ass whooping that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua set forth before us and continue to endure, that we may that we may be able to receive salvation. Yeah. But you know, you gotta
just like it says in the book of if I'm not mistaken, the book of Matthew, when this earth shall mourn, then we shall rejoice. This is the time to rejoice, Akin. You know, as the economy crashes and it gets worse and worse, the house that Esau built up off of our backs, you know, our forefathers' backs, and making them basically slave and work and till this earth to establish the so-called white man's economy that he's benefiting off of unto this day, is being broken down. Yeah. And after this society breaks down, pursuant to Lamentations, the 4th chapter, Esau is going to have to drink that cup. Because when Esau's last stronghold, which is majorly, or the major portion of it is America, after this whole place collapses, Esau is basically going to be in our hands. You know, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So the Most High is presenting this devil as a prey, man. He became he's actually transitioned his role from being a predator to being broken down to being a prey. You know, the paradigm and the food chain of the society is shifting. And guess what? Us brothers that's looked at and looked down upon as, you know, basic low lives that's just talking shit on the streets. Guess what? We're gonna be deemed more worthy than fine gold. Everybody's gonna look for the value, because we know the reason behind everything. We know these is prophecies coming to pass. We know that this is all these different things until the coming of our Lord Yahushua. You know? So you can go into a little bit more of that.
Habakkuk 1:8, their horses also are swifter than the leopards, and are more fierce than the evening wolves.
Which is talking about the so-called white man and whatever he produces. Because at the end of the day, this so-called white man is going to fight for his society. He's going to fight tooth and nail to try to establish this place and bring it up. You know, best believe Esau in the background is trying to come up with different policies, coming up with different type of taxations to basically make other people in these different regions work due to what they're losing in Florida or what they're losing in Texas. These aren't just any cities. These are known areas that's tourist attractions. Houston is a major city in the United States. You know, same thing with Florida, the state of Florida, Orlando, Miami, these different areas. People actually go there throughout all throughout the world, and they land in those certain places for refuge, solace, basically tourism. You know, because that's an area where everybody looks up to. You know, even those different islanders, a lot of islanders back in the turn of the century, they went to the Florida That's why it's a lot of Jamaicans, Haitians, so-called Levites, and Benjamites, Ephraimites, all these different tribes that actually stay in that panhandle, man.
If I can add on to your point really quick too, and it, you know it's the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua moving too, because Florida, especially Southern Florida, a lot of people go there to relax, to be at ease, to be, to be at leisure. You know what I'm saying? But this storm, man, it shook all that shit up, man. So we're not this. It's a whole different spirit. Without being there, you can kind of proceed through the spirit. It's a whole different spirit in Southern Florida going on right now. They in panic mode, man.
Yeah.
And and they know that a lot of the wealth and resources and things they built up, they got a high chance of losing all that shit, man.
God,
And
if I could add,
Oh,
go
so-
ahead.
and that's that virgin of Babylon. What she had in her mind that she should not be in adversity or something like that.
Yeah,
right.
God.
Like she being touched now. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is
come.
lifting up her skirt.
Yep. Most
You know,
Pierce.
About to fuck her up.
Esau's spirit or whatever. When
Fuck.
Esau goes to vacation, it's a thing of like it's a sense of peace and serenity or whatever. But like ever since the eclipse and everything, Yahweh Shem Yahushua has put their spirit on Esau. When Esau's dwelling on these coasts, especially after these hurricanes that have befallen Esau here in Babylon, it's gonna be a spirit of that's an Achilles heels unto him. Like, I could very well be spending my vacation just to be destroyed. Because Esau is, he's a carnal beast. He's not gonna say just, you know what, I'm just finna pack it up and I'm finna go home or whatever. Like, shit, this weekend is kaput. This weekend is finished. I'm going to the crib. Esau's gonna try to wait it out to see if he can't find something benevolent, something precious unto him in his psyche that will cause this to be a memorable vacation unto him, man. But at the end, that's Yahweh Shem Yahushua showing his works in the heavens and in the earth that like I'm coming back to save my people, man.
Yeah, that's right.
But he's
He did
taking
say
that
he's gonna
comfort of
send
Esau away,
He
man.
did say he's gonna send the evil tempest
Come.
amongst this place.
Yep.
Which it means tempest means storms and different, earthquakes and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's what's going on now. This is prophecy that's coming to pass.
Let me continue on.
You go ahead.
And their horsemen shall spread themselves, and their horsemen shall come from far. They shall fly as the eagle that hasten to eat.
Yeah, because these different devils, they're preparing for the battle. That's why in the coming time, Lord willing, it'll start tomorrow. We hasten in the day, but in the times that's to approach, it's gonna be a shutdown in this country. Where food and these different things is not gonna be enough to supply these different people. Here it is. We're in a resource war right now in Georgia. And the other states that's in relation. These different people are hasting. They're going to these different places, buying out all the water, buying out all the food, looking to, collect guns and different things like that. A lot of people are going to be looting from these different places. So it's going to do nothing but excite martial law.
Come.
So you keep going on that. Huh?
They shall come all for violence. Their faces shall sup up as the east wind, and they shall gather the captivity as the sand.
Yeah, and these devils, that's why they hauling all these different people in these concentration camps, whether it's Walmart or these different super centers. They're looking to basically wedge everybody in these different areas so that they can gather them up. And they're actually gonna give these different people the chip in these coming times. That's why everything on the news is progressing towards the chip. It's a little bit more you got. If not, I got a precept.
I can get a little more.
Yeah.
And they shall scoff at the kings, and the princes shall be a scorn unto them. They shall deride every stronghold, for they shall heap dust and take it.
So that's the times that we living in, man. We in the times that this society is going to get broken down, and Esau is going to do anything and everything in his will to try to save it. Here it is, the debt clock is reached 19 trillion. It's going to hit 20 trillion soon, So the economy, the monetary system, the moral system, the landscape, everything that Esau is standing for is getting broke down piece by piece through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shah, and it's all according to the plans that the Most High written thousands of years ago. That's power. All right, so I'm gonna read this scripture. This is 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, and I'll start at the first verse. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And this is the time where Yahweh himself is visiting this world. How is he visiting it? Through these different storms. You know, Katia, Jose, you know, Harvey, Irma, which all these different storms have spiritual names behind them, because these devils notice the power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah that's exciting these storms to destroy his kingdom. Most High is actually attacking this devil. He's attacking the actual core where this devil resides. It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High, spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. So we in the times of the end, and the end is manifesting itself. You know, Lord willing, this thing is going to continuously, progressively get worse. As we hasten for the times, we hasten for the society to collapse. We hasten for it to be no more jobs, no more, you know, products, and Egypt having no more work or anything. Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter, where it should be the grinding of Egypt shall be low, and the music, the daughters of music being brought low. All these different things that this society stands for is to get broken down. That's what we're hastening for. And I'm gonna read this, and if anybody you know got nothing else, then I'll close it up. It says, even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works, and endings and effects and signs. So this is a sign of the times, and it's multiple signs. You know, over there in the eastern hemisphere, the wars is revving up. That's representing signs of the time. Over here, these different tsunamis and different things like that, tornadoes, like the brother just said earlier, the earthquakes. All these different things are signets to identify that Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah is coming. Just like when you have a king that's coming from one part of the world to the next, what do? They have the trumpets blown. They show basically his image all over the media. They show and represent his coming. So that's the same thing that's going on with the Lord. The Lord is representing his coming through destruction and disasters and these different signs, uproars of the people, riots, wars, and rumors of wars, all pursuant to Matthew the 24th chapter. You know, so that's the time that we in. And as this kingdom breaks down, after that, that's when we're gonna rule. That's when Yahweh Shah is going to be established, and he's going to put his foot in the so-called white man's ass and these other nations, and he's going to receive his kingdom and righteousness. So y'all had anything?
I got a little bit.
Okay.
Romans 13 and 13, I'm going to read down to 14. Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness.
Yeah, and this is the time to walk in the truth. This ain't the time to be parading and galloping all over the cities that you're dwelling in, trying to hit the clubs and trying to be some known mogul in the city. This is the time of the end, Aki. This is the time where we need to gather as much resources as possible, which is the wisdom and knowledge. Gaining as much spirit of the Lord as possible, you know?
Isaiah 33:6.
Isaiah 33:6, and pushing it out to wake up the elect. Just like it says in Revelation the 7th chapter, and after our works is finished, it's going to be destruction. You know? Keep going.
Not in strife and envying.
Yeah, and this ain't the time to be strifing, envying with your brethren. If you got alts, discuss it, clean it up. Because time is moving way too quick to be on some little girl shit. You know what I'm saying? Getting into it and harping on things for weeks and months. We ain't in that time right now. We on the battlefield. And it's going to get worse, so our minds got to be sharp. And we got to focus on what's most important. And what's most important is us obtaining this victory. Which it takes a lot of leadership, it takes a lot of stress, it takes a lot of pushing out the energy and actually working in this truth. You know, it takes a lot of spirit. Keep going.
But put ye on the Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, and make not provision for the flesh.
Yeah, see, put on the spirit of the Lord, Ephesians 6 and 10. Because we're going through this spiritual battle where these devils very, very soon, they're going to cut off the internet. They're going to try to cut off and clip the word of the Lord to come out. But we got the spirit of the Lord. That's why we read these scriptures. That's why we do these different lessons. There ain't nothing this devil could do. He could snatch the Bibles away from us.
Yeah. We got it in our minds.
Because we got it in our spirit.
Hey, and ultimately to add to that too, they trying to shut down. Well, they got 400 lists. They got a 400 list thing on the website where they don't want you to look up things on the internet. Like they don't want you to see Dabu 7. They don't want you to see David Hoggins, the End Times, Jason A. They don't want you to look at them videos because they'll show you the real truth on what's happening amongst the surface of things, on how everything looking like it's all good and stuff like that. People still going to work and stuff like that. The Lord said he's going to come like a thief in the night. Go ahead out.
Yeah, I'm just gonna reread the precept. But put ye on the Lord Yahushua Mashiach, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof.
Yeah, the lust of trying to get a nice car or a nice house, to try to get the things of this world. The scriptures say in Timothy that the fashion of this world is fading away. There's nothing left in Babylon. The entertainment is declined. Everything is declined. The morals, the women, they don't exist no more. You know, everything is just jacked up and it's spoiled here, man.
Yeah,
only thing left in this society is the destruction of the Lord. That's what we're waiting on. That's what we hasten for. Yahweh sending his only begotten son, Yahweh Shah, back to destroy this place with the angels and to gather and deliver the elect out of this captivity. You know, so that's all you had, right?
That's it.
So, you know, we want to just end it by giving all praises, you know, to Yahweh, by Hashem,
Yahweh Shah.
Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom Makim, and keep pushing, fighting, you know, because we at the times of the end, man. And as times heat up, you know, it's gonna get worse and worse, but we're gonna grow stronger and stronger. So Shalom Makim.
Shalom.